I'm Bill Snodgrass, and this is a episode of the SNAPlife series. This one, how a part of the scientific method can make your whole life better. How you can use an aspect of the scientific method to look at what you're doing and figure out if it's the best choice. In the scientific method, there's a procedure that you follow, and you get the results, and then you look at the data, but you also look at the procedure. You analyze the procedure to make sure that the procedure is working effectively. So here's the story. A couple years ago, we had a lab just teaching them about how to do labs, and they were supposed to take a penny, and they were supposed to flip the penny and count the number of heads and tails. And so this is what happened. In one of the groups, they were flipping the penny, and they were having a little trouble with the flipping part. And so they said also, it is possible that someone could manipulate the penny in their hand and change the heads and tails outcome. So they decided to just drop the penny and let it hit the countertop and see how it comes up. So they decided they would just drop the penny 20 times. That seemed to be a good idea. They thought that controlled for a lot of variables. But then someone said, hey, what if the penny is a little off and it's not actually coming up heads and tails an even number of times? So then they decided they would drop 20 pennies, different pennies. So they would drop this penny, and then they would drop this penny, and then so on. And so that they did a couple trials that way, but they had to do 5 trials of 20 drops. And someone said, you know what? Why don't we just drop all the pennies at once? So you can imagine that they took 20 pennies in their hand and they dropped them and they went everywhere. Something was wrong with the process. It was better than flipping one penny 20 times, but there was still something they could do to improve the process. And what they decided to do was drop all the pennies into the pan. So in the last 2 trials, they took their 20 pennies, they took the pan, they dropped the pennies, and then they counted the heads and the tails. Now, that's a very simple example of how examining the process leads to a better process. It's part of the scientific method, but I would argue that it should be a part of everything you do. If you're making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and you analyze the process and find a way to, make it less complicated, fewer steps across the room, get the knife and the jelly at the same time because the silverware is there by the refrigerator. Plan out, revise the process, and improve the process, incrementally improving each time. Ultimately, you get to a process that's very effective, very efficient, and leads to the kind of results you want on a very consistent basis. That's it for this SNAPlife video. Look at the scientific method, use it as a way of making everyday life better. Thank you for watching. Leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, sign up for notifications. See you in the next episode.